Hello friends, it's Kelly Pullum here, also known as Craft and Granny, and I love to inspire people to create, especially those who didn't realize they were creative in the first place. So I love to share my Stampin' Up! Products and show you some inspiration for making cards, and tonight's card is particularly fun. It's using the Jungle Pals products, which are free with purchases from my Stampin' Up! Website. So with a purchase of $120, you can earn the Jungle Pals dies free, and with a purchase of $60, you can earn the Jungle Pals stamp set free. So I'm going to share those products with you tonight, and I hope you like the card. It's super cute. Okay. Before I carry on to the card, I do want to remember, I always have a habit of forgetting things. It's a stage of life thing, I think. Anyway, I want to mention I have a class coming up January 23rd, and that is at the Parkside Center for older adults, and we'll be making 3 friendship cards. The cost is $20, and anyone who is an older adult is welcome there. And I also have a class coming up in my home, and now I'm going to forget the date of that. I'm going to have to post that. That's on a Facebook post. You can check that out there. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. I am a little discombobulated tonight for some reason. I'm not sure why. I guess just because tomorrow I'm traveling and I'm thinking about the things that I need to do before then, and that's making it hard to concentrate on what I'm supposed to be doing now. But anyway, we're here, we're going to have a good time, and I'm going to share a card with you. So I'm going to switch over now to the desktop so you can see. I did switch to my phone camera tonight. Nancy shared that the video had been a little blurry. So let me know how things go tonight, and we will see what happens. Previously, I had some trouble with my phone freezing, so I was using a second webcam. Technology is grand. Okay. So I'm going to start off tonight with my card base. I'm using a piece of Garden Green. It's 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to do some scoring with that. And that's why I have the camera a little further back tonight, so that you can see what I'm doing with the trimmer. So I'm going to start off here by scoring at 4 1/4. Then I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to score at 8 1/2, and try not to knock over my tripod light here while I'm doing it. Okay, so here we go at 8 1/2. And I'm going to turn it over one more time, and I'm going to score at 9 3/4. Yes, that should be halfway between there. Looks like that's right. And there we go. So those are the score lines for tonight's card. Very carefully remove that. Okay, now I'm going to grab my bone folder here, and we're going to burnish. So there is my first score line, and I'm folding up with the next one and burnish there, and then I'm folding down with this one, and we're going to burnish there. So then I'm kind of making a card that's going to stand up like so. Okay, you can get the gist of that. Then I've got here some cardstock and some patterned paper. Now I'm using this patterned paper, and this is from the Cheerful Daisies Designer Series paper. But I don't want the back of that patterned paper to show. So I'm putting a piece of Garden Green cardstock. These are 3 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to put them together. Get my glue here. There we go. over and just slide it into place. There we go. So this is actually going to fit on the front of my card here, and it's going to stand up on the front of my card. Okay, but before I do that, I wanted to add some texture to my card, but you can't really do, it's difficult to score your card base or to emboss your card base. So I took these extra pieces in advance. So this one is 1 1/4 by 4 1/4, and this one is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I embossed them with the Fern 3D embossing folder. I'm actually warming up in here a little bit. It was cool when I came in, but I think I can take my sweater off now. Okay. So I'm going to just put some liquid adhesive on here. And this is going on the front. Here we go. And then we're going to put this one on. Like so. Slide that down. Do you know what? I should have done that just a millimeter shorter, and I didn't, but that's okay. It's going to extend. When you have something in the fold, often you can't get it in there tight enough, and so as a result it extends past here. I'm just going to leave it, because if I try and cut that now, it's likely to get raggedy. But for future reference, if you're doing something like that, it's a good idea to cut it 1 millimeter less. Just 1 tick shy of the 4 1/4 would have made that work out a little better. Okay, so now I have a number of things here I'm going to work with. So first of all, I want to show you, I'm going to use this little piece to create a mechanism to help hold this in place, so that when my card stands up, it does not, the top here doesn't just wobble around. I could just adhere it to the front, but the card doesn't stand up as well. The back tends to slide out. But if I put this in here and glue it, then I can allow my card to open, and it will only open so far, and it holds everything in place. So we're going to show you that in a minute. But first, I'm going to take this and we're going to start to put together the piece for the front of my card. So I've got some pecan pie cardstock, and I die cut the tree here, and I'm going to apply that onto my my background. I don't want to go right to the end, because the tree itself is ever so slightly longer than my paper. So I'm going to just put that on there and then trim off the extra. There we go. Now I'm going to add some foliage to this. I'm going to use some garden green pieces and some pretty peacock pieces to match my designer series paper. And these come from the Jungle Dies. So all of these pieces of foliage come from the Jungle Dies. So first I'm going to adhere a piece from the pretty peacock. I'm going to put this one on first. I'm not putting adhesive up here because I'm going to be tucking pieces in behind there. So I'm going to leave that just adhered along the bottom. Then I'm doing another piece here over top. There we go. Then I've got a green leaf here, which I'm just going to adhere. Again, I'm just tucking in along the bottom. So I'm going to lift this up and tuck it in behind here. And I don't want this to go over the edge. So this is going to come out a little bit over the edge of my paper, but I don't want it to go over the edge of the card itself. So I'm going to just make sure that's not too far over there. There we go. Then I've got some other branches here. So I've got a pretty peacock one here, which I think, let's see, I'm going to do, I think I'll do the garden green one here next. So just put a little bit of adhesive on here. I'm going to tuck it in coming up this way. There. And a pretty peacock one. So I'm just layering these. Kind of trying to create a sense of a jungle floor a little bit. Here's another one of the bigger leaves. It's going to come up in this way. Maybe I'll put that coming out this way. And I've got one more green one here. They're all green, but some of them are different shades. Here we go. Let's just tuck that down in there. There we go. Okay. So there is my base. Now I'm also going to add some foliage to my tree. So I've got these little leaves, which also came from the die set. So I'm going to add 1, 2 on each branch here. There we go. I do love this. The tree is from the Jungle Pals dies. So Tracy, this is one of the Sale-a-bration items. It's a $120 Sale-a-bration item. But it is a really fun set. So I'm going to add to this some flowers. Again, these dies come from the set. I'm going to add a flower on top here. Get that to stay down. I'm starting to get glue on my fingers, which means if there's more on my fingers than there is on the back of the die cut, it won't stay, will it? And then one down here in the bottom. I think I'm just going to tuck it right in there. Get on there. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm going to do some stamping because there is a stamp set that goes with this. So I'm using this little guy, the little toucan, which I think is adorable. There. And I'm going to also stamp Hip Hip Hooray for the front. And I'm going to do that in, oh, I forgot to bring my Calypso coral. You're getting it. Oh, good. Yes, it's wonderful, Tracy. You'll love it. You'll love it. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp along the bottom here. Hip, hip. Hooray. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to do some coloring here with my blends. So I've just pulled out a bunch of colors. Oh, and I forgot the black. I'm going to grab my black for the toucan. I wish I could show you how I keep these, but it won't fit under the camera to show you. But I do have them sorted by color. And I prefer to keep them this way. I do have the Stampin' Up! Storage, but when you travel with them, excuse me, like I travel a fair bit with my stamp stuff. So I don't like to take the time every time to put them all on the trays and take them all off the trays. So I keep them in some snap tight storage bins. So here we go. So I'm going to color this little guy. This part is going to be black. I think it just, the black helps to make the rest of them seem all the brighter. There we go. I'm afraid this is going to completely cover the tail feather lines, but oh well. There we go. There, and then this little bit of wing over here will be black. Okay, doesn't he pop already now with that? So I'm going to take some Daffodil Delight. That end, this is what's happened. This end of my blend is no good, but there's still color in it. So I just work with the other end, and this tip works just fine. That's what happens to the tips. I've used these for classes, and sometimes when people are learning, they don't realize that you really don't have to put any pressure on the tip at all. So when you're coloring with your blends, do not push down. You don't have to press hard at all. Just touch the ink to the paper and you've got color. So this is the lemon lime, and I'm going to do that next. Just trying to make this toucan's beak stand out really nice and bright. So this is Calypso Coral. And then I was going to use the Tahitian Tide, but I think I want to tie it in with my paper. So even though it may not look very realistic, I'm going to use my my Pretty Peacock Light to finish. Okay, because I think that's going to work nicely with my paper. Okay, So I'm going to pull my paper trimmer in to cut out my words here. And I'm just going to start with the hooray. So I'm lining up the inside. I'm having trouble seeing my lines here, but I'm lining up the inside of my track here with the hooray, and I'm going to cut. Okay, so then I've got the hip hip and the hooray. Then I'm going to cut on an angle between the two here. And I'm going to just trim the rest of that with my scissors, but I also want to trim this a little bit. So I'm going to just trim how much off of there? I think that's just about 1 millimeter. And there we go. That's good. I could trim that down even more if I wanted, but let's see what it looks like this. So I'm going to cut on an angle here, and I'm going to cut on an angle here. There we go. And I'm going to take this one and just mimic that angle from the other side. Now I'm going to bring in my little mini boss and cut out the little toucan. Get this safely out of the way. Okay, so I haven't used the mini boss in a while, so I'm just going to go over with you again. Your bottom plate should be further forward than the middle plate in the sandwich, so that when you put the top plate on, it goes further forward, and that just eases the plates going into the machine. So grab my die here. So this set comes with dies for the lemur, the sloth, the, I don't know if it's an alligator or a crocodile, and a tiger, and a vine. There's a beautiful vine that goes with it as well. I got to get that under my tree to fit this back in here. I can put it back in after. All right, so here we go. I'm going to grab a little Post-it note to help hold this in place. Oh, I had a little washi tape on here. I could have used that. There we go. There. There we are. He is so adorable and bright, isn't he? Okay, so now we're going to bring in our card base. This little guy is going to go right up here on this branch. Just going to stand him up on there and use some dimensionals to put him on, because I definitely want him to be the center of attention here. And with the bright color, that helps him to be. Here we are. Now I'm going to just take these little sentiment pieces, and I forgot I want to cut this one in on an angle too. Hopefully I'm getting a decent angle there. Okay, so it's going to go on this card front too, but I think I'm going to wait until I get it on the front of the card first. So that's the next step here. I'm going to put this on the front of the card, and then I'm going to attach my little support piece here. So first, I'm going to apply adhesive just down here at the bottom. I've got 1.25 inches at the bottom that I'm going to apply glue down there, and I'm making sure my leaf doesn't come over the edge of the card on this side. Okay, there. Now on the back here, I'm going to apply this piece. It's just going to sit right there. And then the next step is to attach this piece so that this will just stand out nicely. But you have to make sure that the way you glue it allows it to open and close. So I want to make sure, where am I putting this? Maybe I'm going down. I have to remember. How did I do that? Let's have a look at this one. Yeah. Okay, so I might need to trim this because this piece needs to come down this way and it's just a little bit too long there. So I'm just gonna snip that off. Okay. Because I have to have this be able to come down, and then when it stands out, it opens this way. Okay. I'm hoping you can kind of, can you see in there if I tilt it? Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to glue this. I'm going to apply the adhesive and press this down while this is laying down flat. Okay. So there we go. And then this is going to lay down on top of it. And then when I stand it up, that will hold everything in place, just like so. So that little center piece, I had cut it to, I had scored it at 1.25 and then 2.5, and then it was 3 3/4 inches long, but I had to trim a little bit because I needed to fit it to tuck in here. So it was just a slight bit too long there, but there is that. So this is what we've got now on the front. And we're going to just attach our sentiment here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here, and this is going to get attached on the side. I think I'm going to angle it this way, there. Then I've got another hip. This one is going to come over. I'm going to take some of the glue from there. Got too much. This is coming over further. And then the hooray is going down here at the bottom. There we go. So we have hip hip hooray. And then inside, I'm going to add a sentiment as well. So inside the card, I'm going to use another sentiment from the Good Feelings stamp set. I chose I'm Just So Happy for You. So I'm thinking this would be like a congratulations card for someone. It could be for any number of purposes. It could be for a new job. It could be for, you know, getting into school. It could be just anything, any success that they had. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Write markers to color this. So I'm going to use that in order to do the stamping this time. So I am using the retired or no longer for sale Stamparatus. Any stamp positioning tool will work for you. Okay. Going to put this on, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm using my Stampin' Write markers to color, and when you stamp with them they work beautifully, but sometimes you don't get as even or dark a coverage as you want right off the bat. So that's why you want to use a stamp positioning tool. Nancy, this is Good Feelings. This is the stamp set, Good Feelings. Okay. And this is the Jungle Pals stamp set, which I should show as well because it's got more than just the little toucan in it. Okay. And then these are the dies that go with the Jungle Pals set. So as I said, there's the tiger, the alligator, the lemur, the sloth, and the toucan, and all of the jungle foliage in this set. Okay. So I'm going to use, first I'm going to do with lemon lime, I'm going to do the I'm Just, and I'm just going to color this part. I love the way this allows us to use more than one color on a stamp very easily. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to just do that one more time to get a nice good color there. So this set really, it is for our avid crafters. It's for people who do have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and for people who might be placing an order that's $180 to get all the parts of this. But it is an adorable set, and I have found it so fun to play with. I don't know if you've seen my previous card where I showed how the Zany Zoo set works really well with this product as well, because the Zany Zoo paper has some of the same animals on it. The Zany Zoo Designer Series paper has some of the same animals that are in this Jungle Pals. And I love the black and white with the pops of color from the Zany Zoo paper as well. So it is really a cute addition to play with this set. There we go. Hi, Marilyn. Welcome. So you can see here with this color especially, and the dark, the solid letters, you really want to make sure that you get a good lot of color on there so they show up nicely. I maybe should be huffing on these too, because by the time I get this colored, some of the ink may be drying. So by huffing, I just mean to breathe heavily on it so that the moisture from your breath helps to make sure the ink doesn't dry out, and therefore it will stamp nicely, because these are, after all, water-based inks. Stampin' Write markers are water-based. Stampin' Blends that I colored the toucan with are alcohol-based. So they have different purposes. Your Stampin' Write markers cannot, or sorry, your Stampin' Blend markers cannot do what these Stampin' Write markers are doing. If you color your stamps with them, the color will just stay on the stamp. It will not stamp like this. You just have stained your stamp. So this is my pretty peacock Stampin' Write marker. Here we go. Maybe one more time with that as well. I intentionally chose the darker color at the bottom because it seemed to me logical that the heavier weight should be at the bottom and make it feel well grounded. So just a little tip if you're choosing colors to do. There we go. So that is for the inside of the card. Yes, Nancy, the vibrant colors really do make this whole card work, don't they? So there we are. So you've got your little toucan on the front and your jungle scene. It stands up beautifully with this little support in there. It's just fabulous to stand it up. So easy and just stays right the way you want it. So that is great. This was the first one I did. I do want to pull it in and show you. I used striped designer series paper for that. And it's really lovely too. I did decide I liked the toucan better in the black and the white. So for this one, I used gray granite for my tree and for my toucan. But when I wanted to use the black for the toucan, I decided to go with the pecan pie for the tree. It's more brown and I think it works better. So I like that. But other than that, I do like both of the cards. I think they're lovely. And anyway, there you go. And this one also has just bright colors on the inside. Okay. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little class tonight. Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate it. And next Tuesday, I will have been to Waterloo and be back, and I'm going to be ready to share with you again then. So I hope you'll join me. Take care, friends, and have a wonderful week. And let me know if I can help you with any of your stamping paper product needs. Take care. Bye now.